The story begins with two figures engaged in a fierce sparring match. A sharp punch crashes into an arm, the force of the impact rippling through the training hall. The fighters are Su Hong and his training partner, pushing each other in an intense practice session. After taking several heavy blows, Su Hong's partner finally cries out, unable to endure the pain any longer. He admits that the strikes were far too powerful and praises Su Hong's terrifying striking strength. Su Hong calmly responds that he broke through to the micro level just 2 days ago. This leads into a brief explanation of the 5 levels of martial arts mastery that exist in this world. Hearing this, his partner is left stunned. He says that no one else in their class even comes close to Su Hong. While Su Hong is already preparing to continue training, his exhausted partner begs for a break. In the end, he gives up and leaves, calling Su Hong a complete maniac who thinks of nothing but training. On his way out, he greets Teacher Lee, who casually tells him to put on a shirt before leaving. Teacher Lee then approaches Su Hong, his expression turning serious. He asks why Su Hong still has not paid the 30,000 enrollment fee. Su Hong lowers his head and asks for more time, explaining his family's situation. Teacher Lee sighs and tells him that his hands are tied. After practice ends, the training hall empties out. Only Su Hong remains, continuing his training alone. Frustration weighs heavily on him as his thoughts return to the unpaid fee. He recalls that his parents passed away when he was only 3 years old. Since then, he has lived with his aunt and uncle, who have always supported his path as a martial artist. In this cage of beasts, becoming a martial artist is an extremely profitable career. Because of this, Su Hong feels deep guilt about being a burden on his family, even though he trains relentlessly. Later, Su Hong returns to his small, modest apartment. Before entering, he overhears his aunt and uncle talking inside. They are struggling with rent, and money is tight. Yet they decide that Su Hong's enrollment fee must come first. They refuse to let his future be delayed. To make it work, his uncle considers stopping his health medication, while his aunt thinks about taking on a second job. Hearing their conversation, Su Hong stands silently at the door, his heart heavy with emotion. He hears the sacrifices his aunt and uncle are willing to make for him. Even so, he raises his hand and slaps his own face, forcing a smile so they will not notice anything wrong. When he steps inside, he greets them as usual. His aunt immediately scolds him for returning late from training again. Su Hong offers to pass a message to his uncle, but the man only tells him to rest properly. That night, the scene shifts to Su Hong's small room. Lying on his bed, he stares at the ceiling, his thoughts in turmoil. After a long silence, he makes a decision. He will solve everything on his own. If he needs money quickly, there is only one place that can give it to him. The next day, Su Hong arrives at a highly modern building hidden beside a small forest. Beneath it lies an underground fighting arena, a place where the only rule is victory. The announcer's voice echoes through the venue as she introduces the fighter of the night, the Minotaur, who is none other than Su Hong in disguise. To claim the 60,000 prize, he must win 4 consecutive matches. The crowd sizes him up and begins whispering, convinced he is a newcomer. The announcer urges him to stir up the audience. Su Hong hesitates, unsure what to say, until she explains that provocation is part of the show. Understanding her meaning, Su Hong steps forward and declares himself unbeatable, openly calling out anyone who dares challenge him. The crowd is stunned by his arrogance. Many believe he will be defeated quickly, yet his words ignite the atmosphere. Cheers and shouts erupt as the fight is finally set to begin. Amid the noise, Su Hong remains calm, his focus fixed on earning the prize money. Soon, his first opponent climbs into the ring, a fighter wearing a rat mask. Su Hong carefully observes him and immediately notices a flaw in his stance. The masked fighter charges in, throwing a punch while Su Hong appears distracted. In the next instant, Su Hong launches a lightning-fast counter. His fist strikes cleanly, smashing into the opponent's face. The impact sends the rat-masked fighter flying across the ring. The match ends in an instant. Su Hong secures his first victory and wastes no time, calling for the next challenger. The arena erupts as the crowd roars in excitement, stunned by the Minotaur's overwhelming strength. A second fighter enters, sneering as he claims Su Hong will not be as fortunate this time. Su Hong gestures for him to attack, intending to use this match to test his own power. The opponent charges forward without hesitation. Su Hong meets the incoming punch with his own fist, and a powerful shockwave ripples through the air. The opponent's eyes widen in disbelief. Su Hong knows the truth. His strength far surpasses this level. Seizing the opening, he drives a heavy punch straight into the man's face. He immediately notices that the opponent overcommitted, leaving his waist exposed. Without hesitation, Su Hong delivers a fierce kick to the side. The blow sends the fighter flying out of the arena, ending the match decisively. Just like that, Su Hong claims his second victory with ease. He stands alone in the ring, waiting for the next challenger to step forward. Inside a luxurious private room overlooking the arena, a man dressed in a suit watches closely. His eyes narrow as he comments that the Minotaur is far too strong for an apprentice. Seeing that the Minotaur already has 3 consecutive victories, the man in the private room narrows his eyes and decides to interfere. He quietly arranges for the final match to be rigged. At that moment, a masked fighter steps forward, volunteering to enter the ring. The man gives a short command, ordering him to conceal his true strength. In the arena, Su Hong steadies his breathing. The previous fights felt effortless with his newly mastered fist technique, but he does not let his guard down. He knows he has only one victory, away from the 60,000 he desperately needs. Soon, the final opponent appears. The crowd erupts when they recognize the challenger. White Fox. The atmosphere instantly changes. Whispers spread through the stands, calling him a quasi-martial artist, a level far beyond ordinary fighters. To many, allowing such a person to fight is already crossing the line. Su Hong understands that this battle will not be easy, yet the thought of retreat never crosses his mind. White Fox steps forward with a faint smile, his expression relaxed and confident. He tells Su Hong not to panic, claiming that he knows how to hold back. As both fighters take their positions, the announcer declares the final match. The bell rings, and they rush toward each other at astonishing speed. Su Hong decides not to hesitate. He launches a full-powered punch right away. White Fox meets it head-on, stopping the attack with a punch of his own. The moment their fists collide, Su Hong feels the terrifying strength behind the blow. His eyes sharpen as realization dawns on him. This man is not merely a quasi-martial artist. His strength is deliberately restrained. White Fox is a true martial artist hiding his real level. White Fox sneers and mocks Su Hong for losing focus. In the next instant, he unleashes Thunder Fist, striking Su Hong directly. The impact is violent, sending shockwaves through Su Hong's body. For the first time, he experiences the crushing force of a genuine martial artist. In the audience, several spectators recognize the technique. Many begin to shake their heads, already certain that the Minotaur has no chance. White Fox presses the attack, striking continuously while provoking Su Hong to fight back with his real strength. Su Hong can only defend. He knows that if this continues, defeat is inevitable. He searches for an opening, but White Fox gives him no room to breathe. Then, in a brief gap in Su Hong's defense, a punch slips through. The blow lands squarely on his face. The force sends Su Hong crashing to the ground. His vision blurs as his body refuses to respond. His consciousness begins to fade while the arena noise grows distant. White Fox steps forward and places his foot on Su Hong's mask. He coldly tells him that the prize money will never be his. Then he offers a deal. Join them, and the money will be handed over. Su Hong refuses without hesitation. White Fox's expression darkens as he warns Su Hong that rejecting the offer comes with a price he cannot afford. Lying on the mat, Su Hong questions their dignity as martial artists. His words strip away the last of White Fox's patience. Seeing no reason to continue the conversation, White Fox decides to end everything. He declares that he will cripple Su Hong so he can never fight again. The threat echoes in Su Hong's mind, colliding with memories of his dream and the sacrifices made for him. At that moment, White Fox charges forward with a spinning kick meant to finish the fight. At the last possible instant, Su Hong twists his body and narrowly avoids the strike. White Fox's eyes widen in shock. Despite the punishment he has endured, Su Hong rises to his feet once more. A fierce blazing aura surrounds him as he stands tall in the ring, refusing to fall. White Fox stares in disbelief. Even after enduring such heavy blows, Su Hong is still standing. Balanced on his feet and driven purely by determination, Su Hong's thoughts turn to his family and everything they have sacrificed for him. He knows he cannot accept a future where he fails them. At that moment, a strange screen suddenly appears before his eyes, asking what he is willing to sacrifice for his faith and his family. With a hoarse roar, Su Hong answers without hesitation that he would give up everything. Instantly, a terrifying aura erupts from his body, surging outward with overwhelming force. The screen asks once more if he is willing to pay the price. Su Hong shouts his answer aloud, yes. In the next instant, his surroundings shatter. Su Hong finds himself transported into a bizarre, digital-like space. Before he can fully process what is happening, a sinister shadow emerges. Soon after, a golden figure appears, radiating an oppressive presence. The entity tells Su Hong that he will be given a chance. Its form slowly fades, and a stream of golden light rushes towards Su Hong, completely enveloping him. A golden system screen materializes in front of him. It displays his attributes: vitality, spirit, and martial skills. Curious, Su Hong reaches out and touches the screen. His finger presses directly onto the first mission option. The mission reveals itself as a beginner tutorial. Defeat White Fox and improve his martial arts. Su Hong barely has time to react before a clone, identical to himself, appears and immediately launches an attack. Relying on instinct, Su Hong dodges the incoming punch. His eyes narrow when he realizes the clone is using Vajra Fist with flawless execution. Exactly as described in the technique's manual. Seeing this clone as a perfect instructor, Su Hong knows he cannot waste this opportunity. He charges forward and begins exchanging blows with his copy. Very quickly, he understands that the clone is demonstrating the ideal combat form, completely suppressing him with precision and control. The clone shows no mercy. A full-powered punch crashes into Su Hong's abdomen, sending him flying backward. As he steadies himself, Su Hong senses something strange. His own fist technique has improved. The progress is shockingly fast. A faint smile appears on his face. He realizes that this place allows his abilities to grow at an unbelievable speed. Without hesitation, Su Hong re-enters the fight. Blow after blow is exchanged as the intense training continues. With each collision, his mastery of Vajra Fist deepens. They move on to Void Step, and Su Hong's proficiency rises rapidly. In a remarkably short time, his skills approach their limits. Floating Light Palm is the first to break through to the micro level. Soon after, Void Step reaches the same stage. Finally, after one decisive exchange, Vajra Fist surges forward and reaches the master level. With the training complete, the clone dissolves into particles of light, leaving Su Hong alone, his body heavy with exhaustion. The system screen appears once more, congratulating him and asking whether he wishes to return to reality. Su Hong agrees. In the blink of an eye, he is back in the underground arena, standing directly in front of White Fox. Irritated by everything that just happened, White Fox snarls and charges forward, releasing all of his power as he attacks Su Hong head-on. White Fox launches Thunder Fist, intending to end the fight in a single strike. The punch tears through the air with violent force. Su Hong shifts his body and avoids it effortlessly. In his eyes, the attack has become slow. In the next moment, Su Hong moves. His figure blurs as he steps in and throws a punch. The strike lands squarely on White Fox's face. The mask shatters on impact, fragments scattering across the arena floor. Su Hong stands still, staring coldly at his opponent, his resolve unmistakable. Shock spreads through the crowd. No one expected such a reversal. White Fox collapses defeated. The match ends with Su Hong standing alone in the ring. He turns toward the announcer and calmly asks when the prize money will be paid. Inside his office, the arena boss stiffens. An apprentice mastering Vajra Fist is beyond his expectations. Interest flashes through his eyes as he orders his men to follow Su Hong and uncover his identity. With the money secured, Su Hong leaves through a dark city alley. Before reaching home, he senses danger and glances back. He is being followed. The boss's men search the area, but Su Hong disappears. Panic sets in as they fail to locate him. Hidden between the narrow alley walls, Su Hong suppresses his presence. Once the danger passes, he slips away and reaches a nearby rooftop, escaping safely. When Su Hong returns home, his aunt and uncle freeze at the sight of the cash. They ask if he committed a robbery. Su Hong calmly explains that Teacher Lee sponsored him after recognizing his talent. He asks them to trust him. Seeing his composure, they believe him. Pride fills their expressions as they speak about his future. Later, Su Hong stands alone on the rooftop. Relief settles in now that the family's financial burden has been resolved. He thanks the system, then notices something unusual. Only his martial skills have changed. A notification appears, explaining that martial value can be used to enhance his attributes. Without hesitation, Su Hong allocates the points to vitality. His vitality rises sharply. Power surges through his body and a dense aura envelops him. Checking his status, he realizes he has reached the level of a quasi-martial artist. Encouraged, he invests the remaining points into vitality. His injuries disappear, and his strength reaches a new height. Filled with energy, Su Hong leaps across rooftops, testing his enhanced body. He then decides to verify his strength properly and heads to school. At the training field, he finds a combat testing machine. Standing before it, Su Hong steadies himself and chooses to use only 70% of his power. He throws a punch. The impact smashes into the machine, twisting metal and destroying it completely. Su Hong stiffens, briefly wondering if he will be forced to compensate for the damage. The noise draws attention. Su Hong immediately leaves the area. Moments later, an elderly man wearing pajamas rushes in, furious at the ruined machine. He immediately suspects Chen Shan and Li Tu, swearing to teach the culprit a harsh lesson once classes begin. The following day, Star City No. 1. High school's gymnasium was filled with students. Everyone stood in orderly rows, waiting quietly. Su Hong blended into the crowd, his expression calm as his eyes swept across the surroundings. He lifted his hand slightly and pointed toward a boy standing ahead. Lowering his voice, Su Hong asked the student beside him who that person was, the one rumored to have beaten Chen Shan. The student leaned closer and whispered that Chen Shan had destroyed the testing machine at the outdoor drill ground late the previous night. When questioned afterward, Chen Shan refused to admit it, which resulted in the principal punishing him. Su Hong's gaze darkened faintly. A trace of doubt surfaced in his eyes. From the sound of it, Chen Shan had most likely been forced to shoulder the blame. At that moment, the principal's voice rang out from the stage, ordering everyone to quiet down. The noisy gymnasium immediately fell silent. Standing at the front, the principal gestured toward the man beside him and addressed the students. In a clear voice, he announced that he had invited an old comrade in arms, a Tier 3 martial artist surnamed Chen, to personally instruct them in a C-rank martial art, Thunder Rush, Fist. He emphasized that everyone was to take this lesson seriously. As soon as the words fell, subdued murmurs rippled through the crowd. Some students whispered in disbelief. It was their first time seeing a Tier 3 martial artist in person. Others were equally shocked, knowing that learning a C-rank martial art at an outside dojo would cost hundreds of thousands just to enroll. Hearing the discussions around him, Su Hong's thoughts drifted back to his previous battle. Everything suddenly became clear. So it really was Thunder Rush Fist. White Fox had used this very technique. That punch, layered with 3 consecutive impacts, had carried terrifying power. Su Hong remembered it clearly. To learn such a martial art elsewhere would require an enormous sum. Realizing this, Su Hong's eyes sharpened. This was a rare opportunity. He would not let it slip away. Soon after, Tier 3 martial artist Chen stepped forward and spoke in a firm voice, telling the students to stop talking. He announced that he would demonstrate Thunder Rush Fist 10 times from start to finish. How much they gained from it would depend entirely on their own comprehension. With that, Chen began. His movements were crisp and decisive, each strike precise. As he demonstrated, he explained the essentials of the technique. Thunder Rush Fist was fierce and domineering. Its strength focused on pure explosive force. At the basic level, a punch produced a single thunderous boom. At the proficient level, 3 sounds followed one another. At the micro level, the number rose to 5. When the demonstration reached its end, Chen gathered his strength and threw his final punch. 7 thunderous sounds erupted in succession. Calmly, Chen stated that this was the realm he had currently achieved. He then explained that at the perfect realm, 9 thunder sounds could be unleashed. He warned the students not to aim too high and said that managing to reach the basic level today would already be considered success. Afterward, the students began practicing. Chen demonstrated the technique once more and instructed them to follow closely. Time passed as training continued without pause. Fatigue gradually spread through the gymnasium. One student collapsed onto the floor, exhausted. Another complained that he could not grasp the method at all. Others admitted they were already too tired to continue. Still, a few persisted. One student whispered to the person beside him, asking if anyone had found the key point. The reply came quickly. C-rank martial arts were simply too difficult. Meanwhile, behind the gymnasium, Su Hong's friends searched around the garden area, only to find that Su Hong was nowhere in sight. A hint of confusion crossed his face. Just then, a loud shout echoed through the gym. Chen Shan announced that he had successfully reached the basic level. The declaration immediately drew attention. Su Hong's friend was stunned. No wonder Chen Shan was called a genius. His comprehension truly stood out. The principal was overjoyed. He proudly introduced Chen Shan to martial artist. Chen is the school's top talent, and asked whether he would be willing to guide him further. Chen's response was indifferent. In other cities, such talent would be considered ordinary. Afterward, Chen and the principal left the gymnasium together. As they walked, Chen remarked that the overall quality of this batch of students was poor and that the trip had been pointless. The principal replied that having even one student reach the basic level was already a good outcome. Expecting a top genius every time was unrealistic. Chen scoffed, saying that martial cultivation was cruel. Without talent, effort alone meant nothing. The principal nodded in agreement. Without opportunity, hard work would never be enough. Just then, a thunderous boom echoed from the distance. Both men froze. Without hesitation, they rushed toward the source. There, they saw Su Hong standing alone. Chen stared in disbelief. 7 sounds? He asked hoarsely. Is that Thunder Rush Fist? The principal was equally stunned. He had never heard of such a student. When his gaze fell on Su Hong's uniform, his expression changed. This person was from their school. Chen's shock deepened. He had taught for only half a day, yet a student had already reached such a realm. Su Hong continued practicing, oblivious to them. The two stood at a distance, watching in silence. Then, another punch. The principal's voice trembled. He shouted in disbelief, asking Chen if he had heard correctly. 9 thunder sounds. Chen froze. Excitement surged through him, and he suddenly burst into laughter. Everything became clear. In the next moment, Chen stepped forward and unleashed Thunder Rush Fist himself. The principal counted aloud in shock. 8 sounds. Chen had broken through. Laughing openly, Chen admitted that Su Hong's display had inspired him. Without witnessing it, he might never have achieved this breakthrough in his lifetime. Midway through speaking, Chen suddenly realized something was wrong. He rushed toward the training area, urging the principal to stop talking and look. But the area was empty. Su Hong was gone. The two stood there, stunned, unable to understand when the student had disappeared. At the same time, Su Hong had already left the school, walking through the lively streets of the city. Recalling the intense training, he chuckled softly. Cultivating a C-rank martial art was far more exhausting than the D-rank Vajra Fist. He opened his system panel and checked his status. Thunder Rush Fist, Perfect Realm. Su Hong continued forward, thinking about his next step. He needed a stable way to earn martial values and break into the martial artist realm. Life and death battles were unnecessary. Regular sparring should still yield gains. As evening fell, Su Hong arrived at Raging Thunder Dojo. Standing at the entrance, he muttered that since he was already here, he might as well go in. Inside, several people practiced with spears. One boy noticed Su Hong and walked over, asking why he had come today. Su Hong replied calmly that he was simply here to train. Before they could continue, a rogue-looking youth burst through the gate, kicking another student to the ground. Stepping on his chest, he berated him angrily, accusing him of blaming poor instruction instead of his own lack of comprehension. Su Hong glanced sideways and quietly asked what was going on. The boy whispered that Su Hong had been absent recently. The rogue youth's teacher was a newly arrived instructor, strong, but disdainful toward ordinary students and careless in teaching. The rogue youth raised his fist again. Su Hong stepped forward and grabbed his arm. "Stop!" The rogue youth glared at him and demanded he let go, then challenged Su Hong to a one-on-one match in the arena. Su Hong agreed calmly. At that moment, the instructor entered and announced the start of class. The two separated. As he left, the rogue youth sneered that Su Hong was lucky. Su Hong thought the man was unbearably arrogant. Soon after, the instructor held a spear and announced that this would be the final lesson of the Raging Sea Spear technique. As usual, he would demonstrate it only once. He stepped forward and performed the technique. Glancing at the students, the instructor felt dismissive. One demonstration was more than enough. None of them would truly learn it anyway. Su Hong watched intently. Every movement, every shift of momentum etched itself clearly into his mind. After finishing, the instructor placed the spear aside and left, saying that how much they learned depended on themselves. Complaints immediately erupted. Su Hu remained calm. Holding a spear, he reflects of the Raging Sea Spear. Technique lay in treating the spear like a flood. Dragons surging through the sea, endless waves, unstoppable momentum. With that thought, he moved. The moment he executed the technique, the surrounding students froze. It looks like he really learned it. That talent is terrifying. Are we just too slow? At that moment, the rogue youth returned and scoffed, demanding to know who had learned anything. His gaze locked onto Su Hong. A sharp light flashed in his eyes. Stepping forward, he offered to guide Su Hong. Su Hong accepted calmly and suggested sparring directly. Despite warnings from nearby students, Su Hong raised his spear and politely asked for guidance. The rogue youth charged forward. Before he could finish accusing Su Hong of arrogance, Su Hong activated the technique. A water-like aura surged around him as his spear thrust forward. Raging Sea Spear technique, proficient level. The rogue youth's eyes widened. His mind went blank. Someone had reached the proficient level after seeing the technique only once.